What if the reason your legs feel weaker, your balance is off, and you tire out faster than you used to, has almost nothing to do with age and almost everything to do with what's missing from your plate? Here's something most people never hear from their doctor. After the age of 50, your body begins losing muscle at a rate of 1 to 2% every single year. By the time you reach your 80s, up to 30% of the muscle you once had may already be gone. That's not a prediction. That's from research published in the Journal of Cachexia, Sarcopenia and Muscle, one of the most cited studies on aging and body composition in the world. And yet the solution isn't a pricey protein powder. It isn't an expensive supplement routine. It is 7 specific, widely available foods, most of them costing less than $2 per serving, that are scientifically proven to slow this process down, and in many cases help reverse it. Stay with us through this entire video, because at the end we'll give you a simple weekly meal framework using all 7 of these foods that takes less than 10 minutes a day to plan. Welcome to Senior Health Insights. The condition we're talking about is called sarcopenia. It's the gradual, progressive loss of skeletal muscle mass and function that begins in midlife and accelerates with every passing decade. According to the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, sarcopenia affects an estimated 10 to 27% of adults over 60 and is one of the leading contributors to falls, fractures, loss of independence, and early mortality in older adults. What makes sarcopenia especially dangerous is that it often hides. It doesn't announce itself like a broken bone or a chest pain. It disguises itself as feeling tired, walking a little slower, needing the handrail more often, or having trouble getting up from a chair. People adapt, they adjust. And by the time they notice something is seriously wrong, years of muscle loss have already occurred. But here's the empowering truth. Muscle is highly responsive to nutrition at any age. Research from Tufts University's Human Nutrition Research Center on Aging has repeatedly shown that even adults in their 70s, 80s, and beyond can regain measurable muscle mass and functional strength through consistent dietary changes. You do not have to accept this decline. Let's talk about how to fight back, starting with food. Number 1. Number 1. Sardines. Sardines may be the most underestimated food on any grocery shelf. Most people walk past them or dismiss them as something their grandparents ate. That is a costly mistake, especially after 60. A single 3.5-ounce can of sardines delivers approximately 23 grams of complete, high-quality protein. That means it contains all 9 essential amino acids your body cannot produce on its own. But what truly sets sardines apart is what comes packaged alongside that protein: omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA. Here's why this matters so much for muscle health. One of the primary drivers of muscle loss after 60 isn't just low protein intake, it's chronic low-grade inflammation. Your body, over time, produces more inflammatory compounds that actively break down muscle tissue faster than it can rebuild. Omega-3 fatty acids directly counteract this process. A landmark study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition demonstrated that omega-3 supplementation in older adults significantly increased the rate of muscle protein synthesis, the process by which the body builds new muscle, even without changes to exercise habits. Sardines also contain vitamin D, selenium, and because their soft bones are edible, a significant amount of calcium. This means in one small can, you're supporting muscle synthesis, reducing inflammation, protecting bone density, and delivering absorbable protein, all for approximately $1 to $2. Clinical research from the British Journal of Nutrition found that older adults who regularly consumed small fatty fish like sardines had better preserved grip strength and walking speed compared to those who did not. Grip strength, by the way, is one of the strongest predictors of longevity and physical independence in aging research. If the flavor is unfamiliar, start by mixing sardines into a tomato sauce, mashing them onto whole grain toast with avocado, or adding them to a salad with lemon and olive oil. The strong flavor mellows considerably when combined with other ingredients. Number 2. Cottage cheese. Cottage cheese is one of the most quietly powerful foods for seniors who want to preserve or rebuild muscle, and it works in a way that almost no other food does. The reason comes down to its unique protein composition. Cottage cheese is predominantly casein protein, a slow-digesting, slow-releasing protein that enters the bloodstream gradually over several hours. This is in direct contrast to faster proteins like whey, which spike amino acid levels quickly and then drop off. For older adults, this slow and steady release has a specific clinical advantage. Researchers have identified a phenomenon in aging muscle called anabolic resistance. Essentially, the muscles of older adults require a higher and more sustained concentration of amino acids in the blood to trigger the same muscle-building response that younger muscles achieve with far less. Casein protein, because of its extended digestion timeline, maintains elevated amino acid levels in the bloodstream for up to 7 hours after consumption. This is precisely why cottage cheese consumed in the evening, not before exercise, but before sleep, has been shown to meaningfully support overnight muscle repair and growth. A study, published in Medicine and Science in Sports and Exercise, found that consuming 40 grams of casein protein before sleep significantly improved whole-body protein balance during overnight recovery, both younger and older adults. Cottage cheese, with approximately 14 grams of protein per half-cup serving, is one of the most natural and affordable ways to achieve this. Beyond muscle, cottage cheese is rich in calcium and phosphorus for bone health, and full-fat versions provide a fat-soluble vehicle for vitamin D absorption, a nutrient chronically deficient in seniors and one that plays a direct role in muscle fiber function. At under $2 for a half-cup serving, it is one of the most cost-effective proteins available, and it takes exactly 0 minutes to prepare. Number 3. Lentils. If you're looking for a plant-based protein source that truly delivers for seniors, lentils belong at the very top of that list, and the science behind them is far more impressive than their humble appearance suggests. 1 cup of cooked lentils provides approximately 18 grams of protein, along with 16 grams of dietary fiber, iron, folate, potassium, and critically, the amino acid leucine. Leucine is not just another amino acid. It is the primary molecular trigger for muscle protein synthesis. Research from the Journal of Nutrition identifies leucine as the key amino acid that switches on the mTOR signaling pathway, the biological mechanism that tells your muscles to begin building. Without adequate leucine in the diet, even sufficient total protein intake may not produce meaningful muscle growth. Lentils, unlike many plant proteins, contain a notable amount of leucine. When paired with a grain like brown rice or a small amount of any animal protein, they form a complete amino acid profile that rivals many meat-based meals. But protein isn't the only reason lentils support muscle health in seniors. Their high fiber content directly supports gut microbiome diversity, which emerging research from Nature Medicine links to reduced systemic inflammation and improved nutrient absorption. A healthier gut environment means your body extracts more value from everything else you eat, more protein utilized, more vitamins absorbed, less nutrient waste. A large longitudinal study examining dietary patterns in adults over 60 across multiple countries found that regular legume consumption was one of the most consistent predictors of preserved physical function, muscle mass, and mobility in later life, independent of other lifestyle factors. Red lentils cook in about 20 minutes with no soaking required. Brown and green lentils take slightly longer. Add them to soups, blend them into stews, toss them in salads, or puree them into spreads. 1 batch cooked on Sunday can feed you for the entire week. Number 4. Canned tuna. Canned tuna is perhaps the most undervalued protein source in the modern pantry. In a world saturated with protein marketing, this shelf-stable staple quietly outperforms many options that cost 5 or 10 times as much, especially for seniors. A 3-ounce can of light tuna contains approximately 20 grams of protein. But the number that matters more than total protein content is something called the Protein Digestibility Corrected Amino Acid Score, or PDCAAS. This is the clinical measure of how well a protein is absorbed and utilized by the human body. Fish protein, including tuna, scores among the highest of any food group. Research from the University of Arkansas Department of Food Science found that older adults absorbed fish protein at rates exceeding 90%, even past the age of 70, significantly higher than plant proteins and comparable to egg protein. For seniors dealing with the reduced digestive efficiency that comes with age, this high bioavailability means more of every gram actually reaches and supports their muscles. Tuna is also high in selenium, a powerful antioxidant mineral that protects muscle cells from oxidative stress, and contains vitamin B12, which is frequently deficient in older adults and plays a critical role in nerve function and energy metabolism. Regarding mercury, light canned tuna is the low-mercury variety. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration advises that adults may safely consume up to 12 ounces of light canned tuna per week. Rotating tuna with other fish like sardines ensures variety while keeping mercury exposure well within safe limits. At roughly $1 per can, canned tuna delivers exceptional protein quality for one of the lowest cost per gram you'll find anywhere in a grocery store. Mix it into salads, stir it into whole grain pasta, blend it with avocado, or eat it simply with whole grain crackers. Number 5. Eggs. For decades, eggs were treated with suspicion, a food to be rationed, feared, or consumed only in egg white form. That era is over. The scientific consensus has shifted dramatically, and what we now understand about eggs places them among the most complete and beneficial foods available for muscle health after 60. Each whole egg provides approximately 6 to 7 grams of high-quality protein with a biological value, a measure of protein quality that exceeds almost every other food. Eggs contain all 9 essential amino acids in ratios closely matching what human muscle tissue itself requires. This makes them extraordinarily efficient as a muscle-building food. But the critical insight is this: eat the whole egg. A landmark study from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that consuming whole eggs after resistance exercise produced approximately 40% greater muscle protein synthesis compared to consuming an equivalent amount of protein from egg whites alone. The researchers concluded that the bioactive compounds in the yolk, including fat-soluble vitamins, healthy fats, and phospholipids, interact synergistically with the egg white protein to dramatically enhance the muscle-building response. The yolk also contains 2 nutrients particularly valuable for seniors: vitamin D, essential for muscle fiber function and calcium absorption, and choline, a nutrient critical for nerve signaling and cognitive function that most adults are deficient in. As for cholesterol concerns, current research is clear. For most healthy adults, dietary cholesterol from whole eggs has minimal impact on cardiovascular risk when consumed as part of a balanced diet. A comprehensive review in BMJ covering over 300,000 participants found no significant association between egg consumption and cardiovascular disease in healthy adults. Those with specific conditions should consult their physician, but for the majority of seniors, 1 to 2 whole eggs daily is both safe and highly beneficial. At roughly 20 to 25 cents per egg, they remain one of the most affordable complete proteins in existence. Number 6. Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt occupies a unique position in senior nutrition that very few foods can match. It is effectively 2 protein supplements and a probiotic, all in one container. Unlike regular yogurt, Greek yogurt is strained to remove excess liquid, which concentrates its protein content significantly. A standard 6-ounce serving of plain Greek yogurt contains 15 to 17 grams of protein. This protein comes from 2 sources: whey and casein. Whey is fast-acting, stimulating muscle protein synthesis quickly after consumption. Casein is slow-releasing, sustaining elevated amino acid levels in the blood for hours. Together, they create a dual-phase protein delivery that benefits muscles both immediately and over the long term. A randomized controlled trial published in the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics found that older adults who consumed high-protein dairy foods, including Greek yogurt 3 times daily alongside a resistance exercise program, gained significantly more muscle mass and strength compared to those consuming standard protein amounts. Even without structured exercise, the protein quality alone produced measurable improvements in lean mass over a 12-week period. Greek yogurt's third major benefit is its probiotic content, live bacterial cultures that directly support gut health. As noted earlier, a healthy gut microbiome reduces systemic inflammation and improves the absorption of all nutrients, including the proteins and vitamins that rebuild muscle. Research published in Nutrients found that probiotic supplementation in older adults was associated with improved protein absorption and markers of muscle health over a 16-week period. Additionally, Greek yogurt is rich in calcium and phosphorus, critical for the bone density that works in tandem with muscle mass to protect seniors from falls and fractures. Choose plain, full-fat Greek yogurt without added sugars. Buying large containers instead of individual cups dramatically reduces the cost per serving, making it one of the most economical high-protein foods available. Number 7. Dried beans. The final food on this list is perhaps the most humble of all, and arguably the most powerful investment in long-term muscle health and independence you can make for just pennies per serving. Dried beans, including black beans, kidney beans, pinto beans, navy beans, and chickpeas, are nutritionally dense in ways that go far beyond simple protein content. A single cup of cooked black beans, for example, provides approximately 15 grams of protein, 15 grams of fiber, and significant amounts of potassium, magnesium, iron, and folate. Potassium and magnesium deserve specific attention here. Both minerals are directly involved in muscle contraction and relaxation, the most fundamental mechanics of muscular function. Magnesium deficiency, which is extraordinarily common in adults over 60, has been associated in clinical research with reduced muscle strength, increased muscle cramps, and accelerated physical decline. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that higher magnesium intake was independently associated with greater skeletal muscle mass and physical performance in old adults regardless of protein intake. Beans also contain polyphenols, plant-based antioxidant compounds that reduce the oxidative stress and inflammatory damage that accelerate age-related muscle loss. Research published in Nutrients found that regular legume consumption was associated with significantly lower levels of C-reactive protein, a key inflammatory marker in adults over 55. Lower inflammation means a more favorable biological environment for muscle preservation and growth. A landmark cross-cultural study examining dietary patterns across 5 centenarian population, known as the Blue Zone Research, identified legume consumption as one of the single most consistent dietary factors associated with longevity and preserved physical function in late life. Dried beans are extraordinarily affordable. A 1-pound bag typically yields multiple meals and costs under $2. Cook a large batch, portion them into containers, and freeze them for quick use throughout the week. A pressure cooker or slow cooker makes preparation nearly effortless. Putting it all together, your simple weekly framework. Here is how to integrate all 7 foods into a realistic, affordable weekly routine without overhauling your diet. Begin your mornings with either 2 whole eggs or a serving of Greek yogurt. Both deliver complete protein quickly after your overnight fast, when your muscles are most primed to absorb nutrients. For lunch, make lentils or beans a consistent presence in soups, salads, grain bowls, or as a simple side. Their fiber slows digestion and keeps energy levels stable through the afternoon. For dinner, rotate sardines and canned tuna into your meals 2 to 3 times per week. Pair them with vegetables and a whole grain for a complete anti-inflammatory meal. On other evenings, eggs are a fast and inexpensive alternative. Before bed, have a small serving of cottage cheese. Half a cup is sufficient. This single habit, supported by solid clinical research, harnesses the anabolic properties of casein protein to support muscle repair during your most important recovery window, sleep. Use Greek yogurt as a mid-morning or mid-afternoon snack to keep protein levels elevated throughout the day, supporting continuous muscle protein synthesis. This approach mirrors what research call protein distribution, spreading protein intake across the day rather than consuming most of it in one meal, which has been shown in multiple studies to produce significantly better muscle preservation outcomes in older adults than the same total daily protein consumed unevenly. Every food on this list is backed by peer-reviewed science, widely available in any grocery store, and affordable for almost any budget. None of them require a prescription, a supplement regimen, or a radical change to your lifestyle. What they require is a decision, a small, consistent one, to begin treating your meals as your most powerful tool for maintaining the strength, mobility, and independence that define quality of life in your later decades. Start with just one of these foods this week. Add it to a meal you already enjoy. Stay consistent for 30 days and then add another. Every small step you take compounds over time, and your muscles at any age are ready to respond. If this video gave you something useful, please share it with someone you care about who might need to hear it. Subscribe to Senior Health Insights for more evidence-based content on aging well. And leave a comment below telling us which of these 7 foods you're starting with. We read every single one. We'll see you in the next video.